In the last lesson, we saw how outer joins can cause empty values or null values. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to handle these null values. As before, I recommend navigating to Data Hub so that you can open your own notebook and follow along. Once you're in that notebook, make sure to load the SQL extension and then connect to the SQLite in-memory database. And there you go. Let's start off by creating this penguin table. You'll notice that unlike before, I've omitted the not null constraints here because we are going to input some null values. Also insert all the data. I'm going to only insert the name and height columns. And there we go, we have the penguin table. Let's see what it looks like. And we have the 3 rows that we expect plus the empty row. Let's start off with comparators. So how can we select all of the rows that are not empty? Right, so can we do this by conditioning on the name is equal to null predicate? Let's give that a shot. So we're going to write select all from penguin where name is equal to null and penguin. Unfortunately, it's empty. And as it turns out, no matter how I try playing with this query, I may use other operators or other comparators, and it will always be empty. Right? I could try this on different tables, and it still wouldn't work. And so to understand why, what we're going to do is introduce a debugging technique. I'm going to move this predicate to the select statement instead, like this. And what that'll do is it'll actually show us what this predicate evaluates to. So let's try that now. We're going to write SQL select this from penguin. And so you can see for every single row, this name is equal to null predicate evaluates to null. Right? And we can try other, again, comparators for this, and you'll get the exact same result. Right? They're all null, unfortunately. So this sort of leads us to a intermediate conclusion, which is that any comparator with null will always result in null. Instead, we should use the is predicate. So this is now predicates with is. We're going to try name is null. And first, let's try the debugging technique that we talked about. We're going to output what this predicate name is null evaluates to. So we're going to write select name is null from penguin. And ta-da, we actually get name is null is false for the first 3 rows, and then it's true for the last row. So that looks promising. Let's just try doing the reverse. We want select name is not null from penguin. And there we go, we get the reverse. So let's try using this query now. We're actually going to use it to select only the names that are not null, or only the rows that have names that are not null. So we're going to select from penguin where name is not null. And there we go. We have all the not null rows. Now let's talk about aggregation. So aggregates, oh, I forgot to animate that last row there. So aggregates ignore null. So we're going to start with the sum because it's on the slide already. So we're going to do select sum of all the heights from penguin. And fortunately for us, it'll evaluate to 10 plus 11 plus 8, and it'll ignore null. Let's also now try counting the names. So you'll notice that there are 4 rows here, but there are only 3 non-null names. So let's try that. Select count name from penguin. And there we go, we only get 3. So by default, these aggregates actually ignore the null values. Notice one subtlety here though, I can actually do the following, select count star from penguin. And that's because the ID column is not null for this 4th row, so this will give you 4. All right, and your takeaway for this lesson is when working with null in a predicate, use is. Aggregates by default ignore null. That's it.